best friends and next door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruel Tea Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is.
Maddie, hi everyone. It's been a while. Sorry about that.
I'm going to take a moment aside to talk about some housekeeping, if you will. Usually, April became like a break. I needed one. Everything exploded. I don't want to get into it. I hate doing the thing where I'm like, let me list all of my sadness. You're not here to listen to me be sad. That's depressing. But it's fixed now ish, mostly. Kind of. It's fine. But like simultaneously, Maddie had stuff, and Willow does want to come back and do like an episode or two a month, probably one, but she's still just too busy, so I wouldn't count on that. But she is with us in spirit currently. So while she's settling her life, Maris, of course, is always ready for Maris Monday, but he doesn't do the research, so it's not like he's working.
Yeah, he's just presenting it in a saucy little way, basically.
He's just reacting to me. He doesn't even know where he is. I just sit him down in front of the microphone and I go, "Okay, we're gonna make the record now." And he's like, "Uh-huh." And then he says dumb shit, and that's it. That's Maris Monday. So otherwise, things like website and some other projects we are working on got put on hold, obviously, because personal life stuff was really insane. But it's
But
off
we're still
hold.
working on it. Yeah,
It
it's
wasn't like I stopped working. I want you all to know that. It is
yeah.
nothing like that. It's just I was juggling too many things at once and they all hit me in the face and then I had to lay down,
Yes.
pretty much.
I have the next three video ideas already planned out, fun fact. So
Podcast
hopefully,
ideas, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
podcast ideas. I am so sorry. Should be specific. Not to mention that we still have the merch drop, websites. We're trying to do a social media revamp
Yep.
at some point. Like Lillian said, just a lot of things hit us in the face. But we are here to give you guys an actual episode, more
Yes.
actual episodes coming soon.
Yes.
And anything else?
If you're a Patreon member, don't worry. We're gonna fill this month with a lot of goodies. And if I put my foot in my mouth and don't, I'm trying. No, I'm serious. I've got two cases researched already. I know that you have one, so that's three. I can at least
Mhm.
promise that many.
Yeah, we can at least get three Patreon episodes. I'm gonna look for another case similar to the one I already found, or at least like in the same vein of interesting crimes, and we're gonna see where we land. So maybe we're gonna hope for four, but we got three confirmed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
think it's a
All
good deal.
right. And then merch drop sometime in May. I'm hoping probably I'm gonna say next week tentatively. Um, but weird, weird coincidence of fun fact, when you get laid off, you get depressed.
It's true.
And depression does not make you want to do things ever. I have been laying down and playing a match three game on my couch every single day for at least a few hours. It's crazy. Um, all right, so let's get into this.
Let's do it.
So
I
today
want to
we're
I want to dig in. Before you do
gonna
that though.
yes.
The theme is still cold cases because we didn't get to present all the cases we'd researched due to life bad. So I
Yes.
wanted to continue this theme over so we didn't waste those research, all the time researching. It would suck. So
Hmm.
you may proceed.
Yes. So straight up trigger warning. This is gonna be about a child. Obviously we're a murder podcast, or well, crimes podcast, but we mostly talk about murder. So this is child death and sexual assault. But today we're talking about Laralee Spear. I want to keep calling her Spears, but it's just Spear single. And this was a case in 1994 in Deland, Florida. So just last year, the reward for this particular murder was actually doubled from 50,000 to $100,000 due to some new evidence. So I think it's a really good time for us to touch upon this case simply because even though it's not particularly gruesome or interesting, I mean, it is gruesome and interesting in its own way, but it's not one of those ones that is talked about or covered on a lot of media. Um, I think because it's gotten some new attention that we should really bring an eye on the unsolved cases that people don't talk about. Um, Laralee Spear was just like any other 15-year-old in the 90s. She went to high school. She was an honor roll student. She was a pianist, a choir singer for her church, and a junior varsity cheerleader with aspirations of becoming a doctor. She was known for her disciplined routine, her loyal friend group, and close relationships with her family, Barbara and David, her parents, and little sister Ginny. April 25th, 1994 began like any other Monday for Laralee. She got herself and her little sister onto the school bus, spent her 8 hours at school, and was seen by her friends getting off the school bus at 3:15 p.m., only a very short distance from her home. Spears' daily routine is to walk home from her bus stop on the corner of Deerfoot Road and South Spring Garden. The usual, the usually 10-minute walk, which is about half a mile. Oh, fuck. I totally fucked that one up.
It's
Um,
okay. It
it
happens. I
is,
have skipped ahead on my notes before.
yeah, I totally forgot where I was reading. Damn. So she always comes home in that same time frame. You know, she's dependable. She's a good girl who sticks to her routine every single day. So she sees her mom at 3:30 daily, over and over again. Even when she would stop and look at the trees or the neighbor's horses on her way home, she was on time. And Barbara noticed that her daughter was half an hour late and she panicked. So she ended up calling 911. And just 16 minutes after Laura Lee is reported missing, the sheriff's helicopter was looking for her in the air. Not to say that they took off in those 16 minutes, but they were already in the air and got the report and started looking for her immediately. And at 5:35, the oh wow. The pilot the
The
pilot spotted
plot,
a
indeed.
yeah. The pilot spots a body behind an abandoned burned home.
God,
A
that
quarter
was
mile,
fast.
yeah, 5:35, only 2 hours
Oh
from
my
when
God.
she got off the bus. Um, a quarter mile from the Spear home, the pilot reports to ground units where to find the teen's body. Laralee Spear was found lying in a pool of her own blood, shot in the back of the head 3 times. Her hands had been tied together, and much of her clothing was missing or torn away. She had bruising across her body, and leading investigators to believe that she was beaten. In only a little over 2 hours since someone had seen her, Laralee had been kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered. No immediate suspects were identified. Detectives determined Spear was murdered 200 yards from the bus stop, only 25 minutes after she started walking home. In that time frame, Spear's attacker attempted to assault her sexually, and the teen fought back in her last moments. Remnants of Spear's clothing are found scattered along Deerfoot Road in the days after her death. And it took weeks. But finally, a suspect appeared. Bobby Allen Rayleigh. Rayleigh, 20 years old at the time, was already facing charges for two other killings in West Volusia County, but had been free at the time of Larley's murder. He drove a vehicle similar to the one seen near the scene of Laura Lee's murder, and there were rumors, unsettling ones, that he had a disturbing fixation on cheerleaders, specifically Laura Lee's junior varsity cheerleading team.
Oh my
Not to
God.
mention, not to mention, and this is the big one, he told someone in jail that he had also murdered Laura Lee and that he was going to get away with it. He gave the other person like some very specific details about the murder, and the state
Well,
attorney's office.
I was about to say because we've I can't tell you how many cases we've covered where
Mhm.
somebody like the jailhouse type confession things to another fellow inmate have turned out to be total, fabrications.
Bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
they're lying their asses off to seem cool so that they
Or
don't
to
get
get a
fucked
better
with.
deal or to get better
Or yeah,
accommodations in prison.
it's
Or just
awful.
because I guess they're fucking bored because some of these guys will just do this for no possible reward.
I mean, I can't lie. If I was in jail for something stupid like tax evasion, I would start so much shit.
I
Like if
wouldn't
I'm
do
in there
something like that
anyways.
because it might get a family's hope up, and I don't ever want to
Yeah.
do. I don't want to fuck with like murder victims' families, but
I
like
don't think I would claim a victim that I knew exists. I would claim a victim that doesn't exist. I'd be
that's
really specific about it.
that's good. I like that. It's fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't like cops, so wasting a cop's time actually sounds like fun to me. I don't know. That's just me personally. Anyways, but yeah, so he basically bragged to another inmate that he had murdered Laralee, and the state attorney's office did indict Rayleigh for first-degree murder in Spear's case, and he seemed like the perfect suspect. And they spent 3 years building a case specifically against him until Rayleigh said that he had nothing to do with the Spear killing. And a special prosecutor who was later assigned to the case said that Rayleigh was telling the truth. And they dropped all of the charges in 1998 because in the end, he had an actual alibi. He was at a vehicle repair shop. He was at a vehicle repair shop at the time of Laura Lee's disappearance. Rayleigh was convicted and sentenced to death in the murder of the Deleon Springs men, and does remain on death row. I think to this day. I actually haven't checked, but as far as I know, he's still there. And once again, detectives were left with nothing. In the last 30 years, there have been many detectives assigned to this cold case. Detective Cordell LeMay, who is currently working Laralee Spear's cold case, shared some interesting details during an interview on The Nancy Grace Show. He mentioned that a rope, more like twine, had been used to tie Laralee's hands. He said that it wasn't tied very expertly, and that it's just one piece of evidence that detectives are hoping to find to lead to answers. They are retesting several items using new forensic technology in the last 30 years. So things like the rope, Laura Lee's clothes, and DNA collected from a rape kit that was ran at the time that they found her, which would be, I mean, I think the sperm would actually still be alive at that point, if I'm not mistaken. Lillian, do you know?
Give me the time frame again, and I shall Google it as we speak.
Well, they took it within like 6 hours of her being dead, so I would I think it's 24 hours that sperm are active, if I'm
Average
not
lifespan 3 to 5 days.
three to three to five. Your sock on the floor getting
No, no,
crusty
no,
is still
no, no,
alive and
no, no,
wiggling.
no. Inside
Disgusting.
someone. Inside
Oh,
someone.
inside someone. Okay.
Yes. And
That's
given
still
that the
awful.
body is going to be cooling and reach temperatures that are not hospitable to continued existence, I would maintain they had probably about 18 hours.
I think that it was probably collected in that time frame.
Agreed.
So it was that fresh. So they probably got a really good sample.
Yeah, I
Or
would
at
think
least
so.
I fucking hope so,
We
because if they
say that,
didn't,
but that's
that
giving
would
cops
be,
a lot of credit they don't deserve.
yeah, I really hope that a fucking trained forensic was on the scene for this, you motherfuckers.
That's right.
Because regular beat cops are not trained for that. No, they are
No,
not.
they are not.
No, they are not. Um, And so the rape kit that we were talking about actually played a big role in the case already. Apparently, it helped rule out over 50 suspects over the years. But now, with testing from another lab, there might be a chance to go further. Sherry McCollum, the director of Cold Case Investigative Research Institute in Atlanta, is helping with Laralee's case. She talked about the possibility of retesting the DNA evidence during the Nancy Grace segment as well. Her institute is a nonprofit that connects researchers, students, and criminal justice experts to help solve cold cases, everything from unsolved murders to missing person investigations. So the lab actually uses something called forensic grade genome sequencing, and it's at its base is a specific way to analyze the DNA, even in really degraded samples. So even if they're years old at this point, and it's, 30 years old. I actually asked my mom, because I was on the phone with her while I was researching. I was like, how long ago was 1994? And she thought about it for a second and she was like, 31 years ago. Never make me feel that old again. And I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
I could be that old. I don't give a
That's
fuck.
because I wasn't alive until 10 years later, if that puts you in
Dang.
any perspective.
I know you's a youngin'.
Yeah, I was a youngin'. I so young.
You
It's
still got
gross.
like the new car smell.
I don't
Or is it
I don't know
like,
about that. I
never
don't
mind. I was gonna say something else,
I
and then I decided that
specifically
was gross, and to fucking not do that shit, stop at me, so I will not continue.
look, if you want to suggest that I naturally smell good, I have the worst and like very embarrassing thing to admit, but like no. I am I am rank.
You stanky?
Unfortunately,
Are you
yeah,
stanky?
part of being intersex, unfortunately, means that I have a very equal or like close to equal amount of estrogen to testosterone.
Yes. Let's be
So I
honest.
sweat like a fucking man, and it is awful. But I have the nose of a woman. I sure do. Sure fucking do. Because I wake up in the morning and I smell myself and I'm like, what the fuck happened to me? I took a shower before bed. How is this right?
Not to toot my own horn, I basically have no body odor. I don't know why it's weird. I don't really even have to wear deodorant. I do just in case.
That's wow. I have to
I don't
reapply like every 4 hours.
I was never been like a sweaty bitch until recently. I'm perimenopausal, so all my perimenopausal friends, hello,
Oh, so you're getting like those
hot
hot
flashes.
flashes.
And that is
I
a
wonder if
sweaty
my
time.
I have to ask if my mom has been having those because I'm not sure actually.
Oh God. It feels like somebody is taking hot, not boiling, but almost maple syrup and drizzling it over the top of my head. And it's going down my whole body and making me nervous and sweaty. It's fucked.
Interesting. That's
Fucked.
a really How long have you been thinking of a way to describe that? That's so specific.
Well, I didn't think very long. I was just sitting there, and then I said to Maris, I says, "You know, this feels like somebody pouring real hot maple syrup over my head, and it slowly drips down my whole body and makes me nervous." And he went, "Huh." And then he got
Huh.
up and he got a little fan and he put it like on my little table so it aims right at me. It was very sweet.
Do men go through menopause?
No, because they do not menstruate.
Well, I guess yeah, but don't do they go through a hormone change like at the end of their thing?
I know they go get lower testosterone as they age, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's quite
but
as dramatic.
yeah, I was wondering because like technically men are supposed to be fertile or no, virile. No, no, virile. Men are supposed to be virile at any age, even though they can make really screwed up kids after like I don't know, like the same age as women, I think. It's like
If they can
after
get it up
45 or some shit.
if they can get it up and the baby gravy come out, they can make baby.
Well, they can make baby, but that doesn't mean that baby is put together correctly. No
Babby
offense
may
to
not
people
form right,
with
is what you're trying to
with
tell me.
disabilities or birth defects or anything.
Yeah, Babby might
It's
not
just like
form
that
right.
is, yeah, that's like something that women have to be like aware of.
Well, and old ladies, when you're my age, your eggs is old, okay? And they may be all fuckered up too. So, I'm not concerned.
I
I hope
remember
all my
having a
eggs fuck off.
I remember having a panic attack when my mom's boyfriend a few years ago when she was like 45 or so suggested that she get her tubes untied so that she could have another kid, and I was like, the idea of my mom at 45 carrying a baby. No.
Oh
And it's not
no.
that I don't want her to have a baby, because if that's what she wants, I want her to have that.
I would rather
I don't want her to have the
die.
risks of having a baby.
Yeah,
I
I would
almost killed her.
I don't I'm not about that. I'm out of baby jail. Like all my kids grew up and then I did it and they lived. None of them went to prison yet or did anything foolish. I'm good. We don't need look, if me and Maris could somehow reproduce, it would be the most insane, horrible demon child ever born. We're both so mentally ill. We
Yeah.
don't need to mash that together. Abomination.
Yeah. Oh, wow. We really got a little off topic.
It
Sorry.
happens.
I
It
mean, if it
happens.
makes you feel better, I had almost absolutely nothing else to talk about. Unfortunately, there isn't an ending to Laralee's case because it's a cold
Cold.
case.
Yes.
I can tell you that they are still looking for tips, although the idea that someone listening to this podcast is getting like a fucking flashback right now where they suddenly remember like the face of a killer from 31 years ago, that would be hilarious, but doubtful. Um, so yeah, do you have business time, Lillian?
I
Business?
I do
Business?
have business time. If you'd like to join our Patreon, I'd say now is a good time to start. You have over 700 hours of content already to catch up on, and we will be adding to it this month. Like I said, I already have two cases completely researched. Maddie has one, so you'll get at
Mm-hmm.
least three this month. We Our main goal is to shoot for 2 to 3 Patreon cases every month. I'd like more, but I don't want to like overbook myself because I do that and then I have panic attacks and cry. So that's unnecessary. We
Yeah.
have merch. We have Discord. Please come into Discord and talk about cold cases you'd like to see us cover that we haven't covered yet. That would be so
Yeah.
helpful and fun.
And don't forget, if there is a cold case or any case that you want us to cover fucking right now, you can pay us to do that. You can. You can give us money and we will do that for you. Please, God, pay us money to do that for you.
Well, I have a caveat. Don't this month. I still have a couple I need to do for people. And I'm already really busy this month. I have a bunch of outside the podcast things going on, and I cannot do another. And if it would be that I could not be present and other people could record them, but that's not ever going to work out that way.
I mean, I don't know. I could do a solo episode or two if anybody wanted that.
Yeah, if you want to commission Maddie for that, that would be fine. But I am closed for commissions until probably the middle end of this month. So
Yeah.
yeah, but otherwise, that is an option available. If you don't mind waiting, you can go ahead and commission an episode. But please
Yeah.
understand you'll be waiting a couple weeks, maybe 3.
Yeah, we're
Uh,
having tough times, but I have open availability for right now. So,
well, the whole laid off thing. Yeah.
yeah, I sure am. And
Hmm.
I am playing match 3 and staring at my computer with hatred because I can't make myself do creative stuff easily.
'Cause
But
sad.
you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause sad, but you know what? I gotta. So,
I
shrugs.
know how that is. Well, that's all I got. And so, like, if you're listening on YouTube, it'd be real cool if you like and subscribe and hit the little bells and leave a comment. Like, I don't know, screaming into the void, whatever you want to say. It doesn't really matter. That would
Yeah,
be
send us
rad.
hate mail. Doesn't matter. All of it makes us look good, and we appreciate it.
Oh, your hate only fuels me. And if you want to be a
Yeah.
snowflake and do that, that's just fine with me. Yummy, yummy, your hate makes me sexually aroused. And now aren't you creeped out
Uh,
and you never want to do it? I don't care either way. Um, but if all you can do to support this podcast is listen, hey, thank you for hanging in there when we had a kind of unplanned hiatus. We're back, and I don't plan on going anywhere ever. This podcast will never end. It will only end if I die. And I'll find a way to record it in hell.
Yeah, no, we're gonna upload Lillian's brain into a robot that can feel pain, and we're just gonna stab her while she
God,
while she
why?
while she writes scripts.
Could you just leave off the stabbing? Like that I'm a robot can feel pain is already a man-made horror. We don't
Well,
need to
why
take
would
it
I
further.
program you to feel pain if you can't feel it, Lillian? How would you know that you're human,
Well,
that
I'm
you're a
not human,
robot?
but fuck it. Whatever, whatever.
Okay, anyways, I think that ends the episode.
It
So,
does.
bye.
Well, hold on. I didn't say I loved anybody yet. Uncomfortably and parasocially. I love you. Was that good?
I mean, I don't know. I felt a little twinge in there somewhere.
Did you feel disgusted and afraid?
Not disgusted and
Wait,
afraid,
wait, wait,
more
wait, wait,
like
wait, wait.
vaguely
Hold on.
uncomfortable with that.
Hold on.
Like,
Hold on. I love you. That was worse.
yeah,
All right,
that
let's
was
go.
worse.
Let's go.
Yay,
Bye.
bye.
Us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/Cruelty has all the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Libby.